Good morning, everyone. So we've had some major pain in the ass technical difficulties this morning. We were very delayed. Whenever I would talk, Rose couldn't hear for like 2 months or two 2 minutes, not months, but it felt like months. And then I tried to reboot, and my system is old and tired and cranky like me, and so it was like, we'll just take forever to do that. So carrying on. Good morning and welcome to the Dark Roast. I am Dawna Strohl and I am here by myself today. Rose will be back with us next week. And today we are going to discuss how to avoid that burnout that happens when you're marketing, especially online marketing, and how to pace yourself for the long game. Okay. So let's just get started here, shall we? Just give me 1 second. All right. So, key things that you need to think about is burnout is something that happens when you push too hard for too long and you never give yourself a break. You don't cut yourself any slack and you're just like, I got to do this, I got to do that. And the next thing you know, your head is swimming in the got to do's, and you burn yourself out. It's pretty straightforward. And one of the ways to help avoid that is obviously by pacing yourself, but we don't always know how to do that, right? We think that we do until we get there, and all of a sudden, everything is important, everything is an emergency, everything has to be done now. And so, we're going to we're going to discuss some different tips and strategies that you can take that will help you learn to pace yourself and to make things a little bit easier for yourself. Okay. So, the first thing that we want to talk about is setting realistic goals. When you are diving into any kind of entrepreneurship, it doesn't really matter if it's brick or mortar, whether you're selling products or you're affiliating for some digital products or you're creating your own thing. You have to set realistic goals because it's really easy to get overwhelmed really fast with all the things that need to be done. So, first thing you want to do is take a look at what your goal is and then break that down into smaller steps, okay? Things that you can actually do. If you set the bar way the hell up there and you're not tall enough and don't have the vertical to grab that bar right off the bat, maybe set it a little lower. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to keep going up, but if you set it where you can actually do something with it, then you're going to have small successes that you can appreciate, and you're just climbing that ladder. All right. You're going to focus on your progress. We always say progress, not perfection. And it's because it's really easy to get lost in the desire for perfection. Um, but the thing is that perfection is not a real thing. Okay. And for all my people out there who suffer imposter syndrome, we know this, and yet we still strive for it. So we're not going for perfection, we're going for progress. And every time you achieve one of those smaller goals or those smaller steps on your way to your final goal, that is progress. Okay. The next thing you want to do is you want to create a balanced work schedule. And that means deciding when you're going to work, when you're going to rest, and how, when you're working, what you're going to do during that time. That's why time blocking is super helpful. Especially if you have a lot of tasks, you can set aside 20 minutes for just reviewing what you need to do for the day. And then maybe you set aside an hour for your content creation or something like that, or going and responding, another hour towards engagement, or however you want to do it. If it's 20 minutes or if it's 30 minutes, work within the time that you have and then block out those tasks that way. Um, and don't forget to add learning in there. Okay. And the other thing, when you're doing your time management also includes your rest time. Okay. So allow time for you to take breaks. Because if you just go, 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 eventually you will hit that wall. And for some people, that wall comes sooner, and some people, that wall, you are going like a maniac for a long time, and then it just hits you out of the blue. And the thing about burnout is that once it happens, it can steal a lot from you. So please really think about managing that time and setting time for all things, including yourself. All right. Another thing that you can do is to automate and outsource wherever you can. So maybe you can't outsource right off the bat. You're a solopreneur and you don't really have the funds or the connections or whatever to outsource right off the bat, but automate as much as you can. So that means use schedulers, use planners, that kind of thing, especially for your content creation. Learn to create all your batch content. Do something longer and then break it up into pieces so that you can, utilize that content, use the same content, but different captions and hooks and stuff like that. Just to keep it fresh, or use the same captions and hooks, but do different images. That sometimes helps. Email responders, obviously, are another good one because that way you can reconnect with people. Same with your chat responders. Um, and then if you can outsource your repetitive tasks, then do that. Or, maybe you just don't have time for media creation. So take a look on Upwork or Fiverr and see if there's somebody that fits within your budget that you like, that can help you create some of the imagery that you need or things like that to help reduce some of that work that you're doing. Because eventually you're going to want to build your team, and your team starts with one, right? It starts with you, and then you build out from there. Figuring out where your strengths are and where maybe a little extra support is something that you could utilize. Um, Again, batch similar tasks, which I just said, like do all your, write all your social media posts for the week in one sitting. Figure out, get your schedule. Now you can use ChatGPT, fairly simple for that. You can just simply ask it to provide you a content schedule for 30 days or for the next week. Give it your topics that you want. If you don't know your topics, again, another way to bypass that sitting there staring at your keyboard going, this is wasting all my time, is to simply ask ChatGPT. Tell it to act like an online marketing specialist and provide some content, some content ideas for you that you can brainstorm out. Or if you've got a content idea that you want to tackle for a week, get it to provide you a schedule and tell it what areas you want to post on. If you're doing Facebook and Instagram and Threads or TikTok or whatever, and tell it that you want a schedule for that, and it will be able to do one for you, that you then just have to plug and play, that you have to do the work of setting it up, but you already know now what your topic is. It's giving you some ideas on hooks. It's giving you some ideas on what to do, so that you just have to go and create the content instead of having to do all that other stuff in place. All right. And it's okay to reuse older content. I think people forget sometimes that social media scrolls. It goes by really fast. So what you posted 3 months ago, most people are not even going to know that that existed. So it's okay to reuse content. Even stuff that was maybe posted like 2 weeks ago, they might not have seen, because you're not reaching your entire audience every time you post. You're only reaching some of your audience. So it's okay to reuse older content, repurpose it, update it, maybe change the captions that are on it or something like that. It's just a way for you to utilize something that you already have instead of reinventing the wheel every time. And same thing with your blog posts. You can easily turn your blog posts into social media posts. You can break them down. You can turn them into videos, all those kinds of things. So it's a way to really work with that. And that's where your evergreen content is super useful. This is another way to really maximize what you're doing with minimal effort. So yeah, focusing on evergreen content like your blog posts and stuff like that is something that will continue to create revenue for you, as long as you make sure you've got SEO optimized and you've got some links in there, whether they're directing people to your YouTube channel or to your affiliate products, those kinds of things. As long as they are evergreen, You do it once and then you forget about it. YouTube's the same way. You do your content, you put it up there, you optimize it for your best income potential, and then you just let it do its job. That lets you to focus on something else, because that is a perpetual thing. That's where the passivity comes in, is when you create evergreen content. Another thing that you can do now, this can feel a little bit like you're adding more to your plate, but is to diversify your income streams. Okay. So if you don't put everything in one basket, if you mix in your digital and your physical and put them together, services or subscriptions or whatever, it allows you to have a more stable income, which means you're not having to chase things as much. You're not having that panic as much, because now you've got 2 or 3 different ways to get income in, and you can put them all in the same evergreen content. And that allows for just a little bit of extra tendrils out there without having to do more extra work. As long as they're all tying together, you're not having to create a stream just for this and a stream just for that and a stream just for this. If they work together, then that allows you to have 3 different ways or 2 different ways of getting income into you without having to do 2 or 3 times the work. And I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again. You need to prioritize your self-care. We often overlook ourselves in our business. We are so busy looking at what needs to be done, who our customers are, how we're going to serve people, what does everybody else need? What does my business need? What does everything, we're constantly drawing from our well to service others, but we need to be able to replenish our own selves. And if you put yourself at the bottom of the list, you are going to burn out. I know this firsthand because I have been in that situation. I was burning candles at both ends and in the middle and all points in between. I was working, full time, raising kids full time, running a business full time, and then running 2 other businesses on top of that, that tied to each other, but still, were separate and yet together. I would sleep maybe 4 hours a night. Um, and then I hit a wall, or the wall hit me. And all of a sudden, I had no energy. I mean, the best I could do was get out of bed and go to work and come home and feed my kids, because I was so tired. Nothing had joy anymore. Nothing was fun anymore, because I forgot to take care of me. I was so busy taking care of everybody else and taking care of all the other things that I forgot to take care of me. And I paid the price for it. And so did everything that I enjoyed. So make sure you take regular breaks, even if you are, doing your task management for the day and you've got everything blocked out about what needs to be done. Factor in breaks, a moment to take a walk around or do a little bit of exercise if that's your thing. Drink your water. As Mother said, drink your water. Coffee is awesome, but coffee apparently isn't just water. Go for a little walk outside. It doesn't take that long. You can take 5 minutes out to go do something else, just to get back to yourself. Um, and schedule some downtime. Make sure that when you say you're going to have family time is going to be between this time and that time, or time with your pets is between, for these 2 hours. Give it that 2 hours. Don't let your business encroach on that time, because you need to take care of you, and you need to be present for yourself. And that includes the people that you love, but in a way that services you. Okay. It's okay to take care of you. I know that we all are, in this mindset of give, 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 but we also have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves in a way that is productive for ourselves. All right. Yeah, I know I harp. All right. So the next thing you want to do is you want to track your performance. Okay. So use the data, use your analytics to see where your efforts are gaining traction and where your efforts might be just not being fruitful. Because why pour a lot of energy into something that just isn't happening, it just isn't working, instead of putting that energy into something that's actually going to come back to you and help build your business. Those things are there for a reason, and they're to help you let go of what isn't working and build on what is. And that goes whether it's advertising or content or any of those kinds of things. You can make the most amazing content, but if it isn't resonating with your audience, you're just wasting hours of your time. You're better off to figure out what is working, and that is what your performance trackers are for. Okay. Um, and then network and support. Okay. So online, at home, work from home businesses and whatnot can be very isolating. Especially, if your friends and family maybe don't understand what you're doing, especially right off the bat, or you're not seeing the traction that you had hoped, because that does happen. Um, it can be very disheartening and very, very isolating. So make sure that you're networking with people who are also in the business, friends, people who are on the same level as you, or people who are higher than you, so that maybe get yourself a mentor or a coach to help you build what you're doing. If you're connecting with other people in the online marketing space, you can share your war stories, and also they understand where you're coming from. They've been through it too, or they're going through it at the same time as you, and that can be super helpful to not feel so alone, and also to learn things from other people just because they're happy to share that knowledge. And then also getting a mentor, or at least attending some masterminds and finding a coach that works best for you, for what you're trying to do, can be super helpful in showing you ways to best streamline your operation, and to some best practices, figure out maybe where, ask some questions and figure out where maybe you're lacking, or ways that you can tweak things that will really accelerate your business in ways that you didn't think could happen. um, that is what the online coaching, I feel like sometimes people get a little frustrated with the online coaching and say, "Oh, well, that's all anybody ever does." And yeah, there's lots of them out there. So you have to do your research, figure out what works best for you and what kind of business that you have. But they are there for a reason, because they've done all the hard work, right? They've gone through the ups and the downs. They've gone through the struggles. They've learned what works and what doesn't work. So taking that knowledge and learning from them, investing in yourself and in a coaching program is not a bad thing. It's really not. It just depends on making sure that you're investing in something that works for you. And mastermind classes, a lot of times they offer free or fairly close to free, like $9 or $15 or $3 or whatever that's out there. If you're willing to commit your time and go through them, find one that works for you, one that really speaks to you and works within whatever niche and area that you're working in. It's worth it. It really is worth it. I mean, people go to university all the time, spend loads of money to learn from people who are educated and who have already gone through the process and understand what they're trying to show them. Why would you not do that for your own business? It just makes sense. Um, so, areas to focus on is definitely like your mindset and your motivation. Remind yourself that your online marketing business, whatever it is, even if it's not online, honestly, I mean, if you're going door to door, whatever, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay. It's something that's going to take time, and it will build on itself. Your goals cannot be reached by zipping from A to Z. That's not going to happen. You are going to have to take the steps in between to get there. Now, some people are going to go faster than you, some people are going to go slower than you, and that is fine. Your pace is yours. All right. It's not, and don't compare yourself to anybody else. Compare yourself to where you were yesterday and only that. All right. Because your goal is progress, not perfection. Time management. Okay. Again, we talked about it earlier. So stick to a schedule. Figure out the schedule that works best for you, because my schedule is not necessarily going to be your schedule. I get to be at home all the time. So my schedule is permanent, is personal to me. But if you are somebody who has a job and kids and pets and a spouse and all the other things, your time schedule is going to look a lot different than mine. So figure out what works with you and then stick to it. Okay. Have a content strategy is another one. Now, AI can help you with that. There are plenty of prompters out there that can help you with some information. Find yourself an AI group or follow somebody on Instagram or Facebook or Threads or wherever that provides some information about how to do prompts if you're really uncomfortable with it. Or you can reach out to me. I'm not fantastic at it, but I absolutely enjoy it. And there's some really simple prompts that you can use to help create a schedule for yourself, for your content, to really lessen that brain work that you're going to do. You still have to create the content though. And then self-care. Okay. Check in with yourself. Where are you? How are you feeling? What are you doing? And be honest with yourself. Not, I'm fine. I can get through this. Of course, you're fine and you can get through this. You're amazing. But that's not the point. Okay. You can only be amazing for so long until life turns up and slaps you over the head with like a big old 2x4 if you're not paying attention that you need to take a break. Okay. So make sure that you're being kind to yourself along the process of building up this empire that you're excited to have. Okay. That's it. That's all. I'm going to go through real quickly, just listing the ones. Set realistic goals. Okay. Create a balanced work schedule. Automate and outsource where it is possible for you. And even if it's not possible now, start researching to see if maybe there is some ways that you can outsource. Batch your similar tasks together. Focus on evergreen content. Diversify your income streams. Again, make sure that they all match so that you're not having to double down or triple down on your work. Prioritize self-care. I can say this a million times. Track your performance, okay? And then figure out what's working and what's not and get rid of what isn't. The goal is not perfection, it is progress. And then network and support. Make sure that you are connecting with people in your arena to make it so that you're not so alone. All right, that is it for today. I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, by all means, please, you know the drill. Drop a like, hit the share, send it off to somebody who you think it might be helpful for. Hit that subscribe button. If there's anything that you would like Rose and I to talk about, please drop it in the comments. If you are catching this on replay, #replay. And next week, Rose and I are going to be talking about the affiliate marketing myth, which is that it's not all passive. Okay. What it takes to build sustainable income, because we hear the stories about passive income, but the reality is that, it's not passive. I can get close to passive, but there's no such thing as passive income, really. Eventually there's work, and usually it's upfront. So, at any rate, that is it. That is all for today. I want to thank you